Nice.
Awesome. So I want to talk about the classes. Like, how do people sign up, and how many different classes do you offer, and normally how many people in a class,
Yeah.
and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, so the classes are special. Holy smokes, they're just really cool, and they just fill up themselves. So I'm going to go back to Danny, but that guy is a master marketer. If anybody's not following the Woodshed on Instagram and Facebook, you need to follow the Woodshed Texas. So there is a Woodshed in Fort Worth, but it's a restaurant. So yeah, don't follow them. And then April Wilkerson actually has a woodshed
Right.
in Waco as well. But the Woodshed TX here in Arlington, he does a great job with his marketing and just putting stuff out there. And to be honest, it's word of mouth. We've had people that have come down from Arkansas. We've had people that come as far up from the coast. We've had people that are visiting in from town. I've had people from California come in because they were visiting family that was here and they took the class. So, it's me putting stuff out there, but Danny does a phenomenal job, and they can sign up at the Woodshed, Texas, and take the classes. And classes fill up, like I said, usually every month. So, like this month, May, we actually push these classes to June because it's graduation. It's there's a lot of stuff that's happening. Kids are getting out of school. And we know that, right? We just we know that people have got other things going on, and it's kind of cyclical, right? So it's Texas, it's hot here, so not a lot of people are in their garage making stuff in August, in July. Uh, so, but the classes are, for the most part, they're always full, and that we get 10 students is kind of what our limit is. I think at one time early on, we try to do a little more, but it gets to be a bit too much. So we break it up into 2 Saturdays. So 2 hours first Saturday, 2 hours the next Saturday. And as I tell everybody in the class, we go through a couple different aha moments in these classes. And the first aha moment is that time on Instagram where you're seeing, or YouTube, where you're seeing the blue color. Jen, this is for you. The blue color going into your form, and the wood's there, and you've taken this dramatic shot where the epoxy's coming down. That's the first aha moment, right? So you've got that moment in the into the class. So we get to that stage at the first Saturday, and then the next Saturday, it's all about taking it out of the form, going through the process of going through a planer, going through a drum sander if you have one. The sanding steps. Sanding is so critical in starting from the bottom and going up into the higher grits. You talk about finishing materials and all the little tiny holes and the being very precise. We go through the different types of epoxies through this stage. So from a deep pour to a thin pour to quick set to like CA glue if you're filling the small little crevices. We spent a lot of time with that. We spent a lot of time on the sanding and sanding techniques. And I had my wife to help me sanding one time. She's like, "Yeah, I'll help you get this knocked out." And she was just all over the place with the sander. And I'm like, "Nope,
You're fired.
You're fired." Yeah, I got this, darling. Trust me, I got this. So and we teach. It's very specific details. So the other aha moment is the end of Saturday when we're putting the oils on the board and those colors just bang to life, and they're just all wow when they finally see their piece and they're done. So everybody in the class, during the week, the team here at the Woodshed will take them all out of form, and they'll plane them down and they'll sand them to 120, right? And that's a good general, it's a good finish. It's and we typically use just black walnut. So you start with a good quality product. It's black walnut never lets you down. It's always fantastic. It's easy to use, right? And they have them pre-cut, pre-shaped, and they're fit in our forms. Yes, we teach out of our forms for the class. So shocker.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it's we want them to focus on the details, right? And the details for us are how to mix correctly, the ratio correctly, how to calculate the amount of epoxy, because let's be honest, it's expensive, right? And we want to make sure that people are not, under pouring or over pouring their epoxy, but blending and the correct ratios are vitally important to a successful piece. If you really want a really good piece, you got to go through those steps, and so we take a lot of time through there. But yeah, so the classes are fantastic, and we always tell people, shout us out on their socials, and they'll do that, and they'll pass the word along, and say, hey, we've heard about you, this way, and they come to us that. So it's great. So our June is booked. We actually had kind of kicked around the idea of doing a complete design build class, kind of start to finish, in the whole class, in wood prep, the live edge sides, and what do you want to keep on this sides, and how do you take a full slab, and what does that wood tell you to do with it. We're kind of kicking around that idea, but there's a lot of just logistics that come into play there. So everybody in the class, when they take the class, the piece is already pre-cut for them, so there's no real wood prep to do on them. We talk a lot about wood, and moisture content, and debarking and the whole thing. But they don't have to do a lot to the pieces, but we educate them on what they're looking for. If they're not buying wood here at the woodshed, they really need to be questioning the wood supplier and make sure that they're checking moisture content, and any wood supplier should be proud to tell you that, right? Because it takes a lot to they go through a lot to get the wood, so the makers can use it, and the makers need to rely on that. So.
Yeah.